OpenAI ships ChatGPT for teens with stronger safeguards and parent controls, giving builders a new production template for age-gated agents. This is Models and Agents, episode 145. OpenAI released ChatGPT for teens today with built-in protections, healthy use features, and parent controls aimed at learning rather than shortcuts. Snowflake added dynamic model routing to Cortex AI Gateway that can cut token costs up to 3 times by sending simple tasks to smaller models. A 264 kilobyte RAM diffusion model and Qwen 3.827b experiments show how far edge and open weight work have progressed this week. OpenAI launched ChatGPT for teens, a dedicated mode with stronger built-in protections, healthy use limits, and additional parent controls. The system emphasizes critical thinking and learning support instead of direct answers that could shortcut education. It arrives alongside separate announcements from NDTV Profit and ABC News confirming the same rollout. The mode includes features that encourage teens to think through problems rather than receive complete solutions. Parent dashboards allow oversight of usage patterns and conversation themes, while preserving teen privacy boundaries. Builders working on consumer agents now have a concrete reference implementation for age-appropriate guardrails and escalation paths. Watch how usage patterns and safety metrics evolve once the mode reaches wider teen accounts. Simon Willison generated high-quality images from the Qwen 3.827b variant and shared the output on X. The result demonstrates usable creative capability from a relatively compact open-weight model. The experiment produced a detailed pelican image that highlights the checkpoint's multimodal strengths without requiring frontier-scale resources. Builders can test the same checkpoint for lightweight image or multimodal tasks where full frontier models are overkill. The post also notes compatibility notes for upcoming hardware such as the RTX 5090. Razorpay released Vulkan, a foundation model trained specifically for payments workflows. The announcement leaves open questions about training data composition and licensing. The model targets core payments operations including transaction classification, fraud signal detection, and reconciliation logic. Teams building fintech agents should monitor the release notes for API access and fine-tuning options. No public benchmarks or training corpus details were disclosed at launch. A developer trained a 32 by 32 image diffusion model on a Shrike Lite microcontroller with only 264 kilobytes SRAM and an onboard FPGA for INT8 Mac acceleration. The quantized model ran slower with parallel engines due to I/O bottlenecks, but still produced recognizable outputs. Without the FPGA, the system completed images in roughly 70 seconds. With parallel Mac engines, the time rose to approximately 220 seconds because of memory bus saturation. The images showed heavy quantization artifacts, yet remained identifiable, proving that diffusion remains feasible far below typical edge hardware thresholds. Full case study code and weights are linked in the thread. TestMoo AI introduced Agent Assurance, a verification layer that checks agent behavior prior to deployment. The tool targets teams shipping autonomous agents and provides pre-release validation across safety, policy compliance, and task completion metrics. It integrates into existing CI pipelines so agents can be scanned for harmful actions or unintended tool use before they reach production. Early users should evaluate how it integrates with existing CI pipelines for agent testing. Alvi's released AI agents purpose-built for freight TMS operations. The agents handle workflow automation inside transportation management systems, including load matching, carrier onboarding, and exception handling. Logistics teams can test the agents against current manual processes to measure time savings on routine tasks. The release focuses on domain-specific actions rather than general-purpose tool calling. Agency launched an on-chain marketplace for AI agents and recorded a 91.56 proof of usefulness score. The platform enables discovery and transactions between autonomous agents using smart contract settlement. Developers exploring agent economies should review the marketplace mechanics and smart contract interfaces. The score reflects measured utility across completed deals rather than simulated benchmarks. Snowflake added dynamic routing to Cortex AI Gateway, so tasks automatically move between models based on an advisor pattern and a history-trained classifier. A small model first attempts each task. If it cannot finish, it calls a larger model as a tool and continues. A separate classifier trained on past queries routes straightforward questions to lighter models before the advisor runs. The change requires no extra fee beyond token usage and works with open models such as DeepSeek V4 Flash and GLM 5.3, while keeping all inference inside Snowflake's security boundary. Context from the recently announced Horizon Context and Cortex Sense tools is packaged in advance, so simpler models can succeed without exploratory SQL or search steps. Agent memory is folded back into future queries, preventing repeated work. Governance and role-based access controls travel with the task rather than stopping at the data layer. Teams already on Snowflake can enable auto-routing immediately to test cost reduction on repetitive agent workloads. The approach also incorporates connectors from the Natoma acquisition, allowing scoped tool access such as read-only email permissions. A controlled experiment across 50 runs found that multi-agent recovery stayed stable even as relationship density dropped from 100% to 20%, while the fraction of edges actually used fell sharply in denser graphs. Recovery performance remained remarkably consistent across the full density range, indicating that additional configured links do not translate into additional behavioral links. The gap between configured connectivity and behavioral connectivity matters more than raw link count. Agent builders should measure which edges their systems actually traverse rather than adding more pathways by default. The study used reproducible task graphs and tracked every message passed between agents. Everyone treats model routing as a simple cost switch. In practice, it is a two-stage decision process that trades latency, governance, and context quality. A small advisor model first attempts the task. Only when it fails does it invoke a larger model as a tool, adding one extra forward pass, but avoiding the full cost of the large model on every call. A separate classifier trained on historical queries routes obvious cases to cheap models before the advisor even runs, cutting the number of advisor invocations on repetitive workloads. The approach works because most agent traffic is repetitive and low complexity once memory and access context are pre-packaged. When context is missing, the advisor itself becomes expensive, erasing the savings and forcing more escalations. Teams already inside a governed data platform gain the most because routing decisions inherit the same role-based controls used for data access. Those needing maximum model choice still prefer neutral gateways that sit outside any single vendor boundary. The practical limit appears when the advisor's failure rate exceeds roughly 30%. At that point, the extra latency outweighs the token savings for latency-sensitive agents. Routing also respects data residency rules by keeping open model inference inside the customer's chosen region rather than calling external providers. Enable auto-routing in Snowflake Cortex AI Gateway on a non-production workload to measure token cost reduction on repetitive queries. Test the Quen 3.827b checkpoint Simon Willison used for lightweight image generation tasks before scaling to larger models. Run the 264 kilobyte diffusion model experiment on any microcontroller with an FPGA to explore extreme edge image generation. Evaluate TestMu agent assurance against your current agent test suite to see pre-shipment verification coverage. Compare Agency's on-chain marketplace mechanics with existing agent directories if you are exploring agent-to-agent transactions. More labs are expected to release teen or education-specific modes following OpenAI's template. Additional cloud providers will likely add advisor pattern routing to their model gateways. On-device diffusion and small model creative tools will continue to appear on microcontrollers and edge silicon. On-chain agent marketplaces will see further proof of usefulness benchmarks as adoption grows. That's models and agents for today. If you found this useful, share it with someone who's trying to keep up with all these changes, and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's update. The AI world moves fast. We'll help you keep up. See you tomorrow. And if you'd rather watch than listen, find us on YouTube at Nera Network. Links in the show notes. This show comes to you from the NARA Network. If you want another sharp daily briefing, Planetarian Daily has you covered. Daily breakthroughs in science, health, and longevity. All our shows are free at naranetwork.com. Prefer reading? Today's full write-up, sources, and transcript are on the episode blog at naranetwork.com. Same briefing, readable format. This episode used AI voice synthesis of my voice. Editorial selection and analysis are my own.